We've all felt lost at some point in life, whether it's in our relationships, career, or just in our overall path. These moments often bring up questions like, what am I doing? Or where am I going? These aren't just random thoughts. They are signals from deep within us, seeking clarity and direction. When this happens, what we're really searching for is something personal, something that truly resonates with who we are. We're looking for our true compass, the inner guide that helps us navigate life with purpose and clarity. But here's the challenge. It's easy to get lost in the noise of expectations. We might find ourselves following a path shaped by others' opinions, social pressures, or even outdated beliefs, losing sight of what we truly value. When was the last time you asked yourself, what do I value? What do I care about beyond what's expected of me? Knowing your core values is important because they shape your actions, decisions, and overall fulfillment. When you're out of touch with them, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to you, leaving you feeling confused, stressed, and dissatisfied. If you don't understand your values, you might end up making decisions based on societal pressures or beliefs you've inherited, rather than what truly resonates with you. But once you're clear on your values, everything changes. You gain the clarity and direction you need to make choices that align with who you really are. Whether it's in your career, relationships, or personal growth, understanding your core values helps you lead a more meaningful and authentic life. This process involves both discovering and creating your core values. While many of the values we hold are learned from external influences, such as parents, teachers, and society, others emerge from self-reflection and life experience. As we grow, we gain the ability to reassess, reevaluate, and even reshape our values. We create new ones as we learn more about ourselves and the world around us. Philosophers have long debated the importance of discovering and creating personal values, and for good reason. It's the foundation of living an authentic life. Jean-Paul Sartre and Friedrich Nietzsche were particularly vocal about this. Sartre famously said, "Man is nothing else but what he makes of himself." In other words, existence precedes essence. There's no predetermined purpose or meaning in life. It's up to us to create it. Sartre's point is simple yet powerful. We're responsible for defining our values. If we don't actively choose them, we risk falling into what he calls bad faith, where we adopt society's values without thinking, living inauthentically. Sartre believed that true freedom comes from this responsibility, and while it might feel like a heavy burden, it's also liberating. We have the power to shape our lives by what we choose to value. On the other hand, Friedrich Nietzsche pushed this even further with his idea of the will to power. He didn't believe in universal values dictated by religion, tradition, or society. Nietzsche urged individuals to create their own values, ones that reflect their unique nature. His quote, "You have your way, I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist," is a direct rejection of conformity. Nietzsche called for a reevaluation of all values, challenging us to question everything we've been taught and redefine our principles according to who we truly are, not who society tells us to be. Both philosophers emphasize one clear truth. Values must be created by the individual. Sartre demands we take responsibility for our choices, while Nietzsche urges us to break free from imposed norms. Together, their ideas remind us that discovering and defining our own values is essential to living authentically and with purpose. Personal values are at the core of who we are. They define what we stand for and shape our behavior, decisions, and overall sense of fulfillment. When we live in alignment with our values, we thrive. But when we don't, we struggle emotionally, mentally, and even physically. Without understanding our personal values, we tend to drift, often making decisions based on societal pressures rather than what truly matters to us. Values guide our actions, for better or worse. When we clarify them, we can consciously create behaviors that align with our highest priorities. Without this clarity, many of us go through life without ever fully understanding what truly drives us. The result? We end up living by default values imposed by culture, media, and society, rather than those that resonate with who we really are. So understanding your personal values is not just a self-awareness exercise. It's essential for taking control of your life. It's about defining what you stand for, so your actions are rooted in something meaningful and intentional. Researchers like Rokeach and Schwartz have shown that values aren't just abstract ideas. They're the driving forces behind everything we do. They act as core motivations that shape, justify, and explain our attitudes, norms, opinions, and actions. Whether we realize it or not, our values influence our everyday decisions. They affect how we treat others, what we prioritize, and even how we view the world. Think about it. Your values are constantly at work behind the scenes. If you value honesty, you'll naturally be drawn to truthfulness in your interactions. If success is important to you, you'll push yourself to meet certain standards. These motivators not only explain why we behave the way we do, but also why we make the choices we make. They also shed light on why we might feel dissatisfied when we fail to honor our values. The key question is, are you aware of your values, or are they running on autopilot? When we're unaware of our core values and how we prioritize them, decision-making becomes more difficult, especially when our values are in conflict. Regularly reflecting on our values allows us to adjust them as we grow and change. Without this reflection, we might continue making decisions based on outdated beliefs, leading to a sense of unfulfillment. As Jean-Paul Sartre's concept of being condemned to be free reminds us, we're responsible for how we live, not by making arbitrary choices, but by aligning our decisions with our true selves. When your actions don't align with your values, you end up feeling disconnected and lost. Imagine an employee who values innovation, working for a company that prioritizes stability and tradition. They'll constantly feel like they're struggling, frustrated, because their ideas don't fit within the company's rigid structure. In the same way, if you value freedom, but let fear or social pressure guide your choices, you'll feel stuck. Aligning your actions with your values is key to finding peace and true fulfillment. Living according to your true compass doesn't mean the road will be easy. It often requires making difficult decisions that might go against what others expect from you. But when you live in alignment with your core values, those tough choices will feel right. It also means you'll need to take action to honor those values, even when it's hard. But here's the reward. You'll gain a deep sense of satisfaction and fulfillment from living authentically. Knowing your values gives you the clarity to make intentional choices. For example, if you truly value health, becoming aware of this will guide you to prioritize habits like eating well, exercising, and managing stress. When you're clear about what matters most, it's easier to resist unhealthy impulses because your actions are grounded in what's meaningful to you. Understanding your core values makes decision-making easier. When you're clear about what truly matters, your choices become simpler and more focused. This clarity gives you the confidence to make decisions that feel right, leading to a more authentic and meaningful life. So, if you're feeling lost or disconnected from your path, start by looking within. Ask yourself, what really matters to me? What do I want my life to stand for? These are the questions that will lead you to your true compass, the inner guide that can help you navigate even when life feels chaotic or uncertain. There are countless people who choose to live by their core values, inspiring those around them with their dedication and principles. One powerful story from the early 1900s that shows the impact of living by core values is that of Jane Addams, a social reformer and Nobel Peace Prize laureate. Addams is celebrated for founding Hull House in Chicago, a place that provided crucial services to the poor, especially immigrants. Born in 1860, Addams grew up with a deep sense of social responsibility, passed down from her father. A trip to Europe exposed her to the harsh realities of poverty, and from that moment, she committed herself to values like compassion, justice, and service to others. These weren't just ideals, they were the foundation of how she lived. At the heart of Addams's work was her belief in equality and human dignity. She devoted herself to improving the lives of marginalized communities, creating Hull House as a safe haven for immigrants and the working class. They found education, healthcare, and hope through her steady dedication. Her path wasn't easy. Addams faced criticism, especially in a time when women were expected to remain in domestic roles. But societal pressure didn't sway her. She stood firm in her belief in social justice, even when it wasn't popular, and because of that, she made history. The impact of her values went beyond her own life. Her dedication to compassion and service earned her the Nobel Peace Prize in 1931. And her work helped shape future social welfare policies in the United States. Jane Addams' story is a testament to the power of living by your values. She didn't let the world define her. She let her values shape the world around her. And in doing so, she left a lasting impact on society, proving that integrity and purpose can transform not only your life, but the lives of countless others. Researchers have shown that every person has their own distinct set of values, or hierarchy. This uniqueness is key. No two people will prioritize the same values in exactly the same way. What's important to you might not carry the same weight for someone else, and that's perfectly natural. Professor Norman Feather, 1995, explains that values are expressed in a hierarchy, and the basis of the hierarchy is their importance to their owners. In other words, certain core values will have more influence over your behavior and decision-making because they sit at the top of your personal value system. According to Feather, both individuals and organizations need to establish a clear order and prioritize their values. Values are arranged in a hierarchy, with their rank based on how important they are to the person or group. On an individual level, researchers like Rokeik, 1973, and Schwartz, 1992, have shown how this hierarchy shapes a person's perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors. It's not just about having the right values, it's about the order they are placed in. The values that hold a higher place in the hierarchy have a greater impact on behavior. So, how do you go about discovering your core values and your unique value system? That's exactly what we'll dive into in the next video. To wrap things up, remember that values aren't just abstract ideas, they're your personal compass, guiding every decision and action you take. It's a journey of self-discovery that reveals what really drives you and what matters most to your core. By understanding your value system, prioritizing the right values, and aligning your behavior with what truly matters, you gain a sense of control over your life. This alignment helps you live with greater authenticity and purpose, giving you the clarity and confidence to make decisions that reflect who you really are.